recording this?
Yeah, we're gonna post this. Oh, Rodney. My goodness. This is in. I've already started recording, so this is gonna be
I'm
shown
glad
for the
you told
world.
me that now.
So we are here with Rodney Powell, everybody in our interviewing of key volunteers and people in the student ministry. And so Rodney, why don't you just get started? I know probably most people probably know who you are, your wild, crazy self up in the heights. But just kind of tell us who you are, what you do, some things you enjoy doing, that kind of stuff.
Well, name is Rodney Powell, the firstborn and favorite son of Richard and Rita, which I'm sure everybody knows. I am married to Kelly, my beautiful bride, and have two boys, Tanner and Caleb. Tanner is out. He lives with us, but he's graduated college and doing his thing. And then Caleb is at Southern Miss, and he's back home, obviously, because of everything that's going on. But we're grateful. We're healthy. I work for FedEx in the security department, and get to deal with a lot of interesting things probably each day, but do a lot of traveling. Let's see. I met Kelly. We'll go with that one. I met Kelly in God's country, Knoxville, while I was going to the University of Tennessee. And basically, it was pretty much love at first sight. First time I saw her, I asked one of the other ladies there, or girls there at the time that I was sitting next to. She worked for this ministry we were in. I asked who that was, and she asked me, "Oh, you're interested?" And I said, "No, we're gonna go out one day. There's no doubt." So, anyways, it was me love at first sight. I don't know about Kelly. She probably thought I was a weird idiot that did stupid things. But that's a little bit about me. Am I supposed to go down these questions that you gave us?
No, I'm asking. I'm fielding you with these questions right here.
Okay.
Well, because some of them I'm not going to ask, so you got to be on your toes about which one I hit you with.
Oh, I do.
Absolutely.
All right.
I know you can handle it.
I'm not good at ad-libbing, but whatever. Let's go with it.
So, Rodney, how long have you been serving in the Heights or in the student ministry?
Well, so student ministry in general, not necessarily Longview. Like I mentioned with Kelly, that's where we actually met. There's a ministry in Knoxville called Yoke Youth Ministries, and it's a non-denominational ministry that actually goes into the middle schools, and it's Christian based, and they just basically mentor kids. Well, we ended up my second year doing that at the same school me and Kelly did. So basically from college, we've been doing something in some type of ministry. Now, once we got married, as newlyweds, we ended up moving back here, or I moved her back here, took her away from God's country, and we went into a newlywed class, created a core group of friends that we still are extremely close with throughout the years. And then after we had kids, we've pretty much been serving in some type of kids ministry with the boys. We followed them all the way up. So other than the college ministry now where Caleb is and Tanner and the young adults. But so minus a 4 or 5 year span since college, we've been working in some type of ministry as far as kids and students.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive testimony. So
well, I think it's more along my mentality level, so that's why it fits in so well. At least that's what Kelly tells me.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, Rodney, would you kind of just tell us how you came to know Christ? Just maybe that moment where it all clicked and kind of came together.
Well, since this is being recorded and it may go out to the world, I'm going to leave a lot of the details out of it. But basically, I grew up in a Christian home. As y'all know, Mom and Dad, Richard and Rita, they had us in church every grand. That's right, granddaddy and grand. If the doors were open, we were there. kicking, screaming, whatever. We were dragged there, beat there. It don't matter. We were there. So I grew up in a Christian household, and I knew I knew all the answers, but I tended to go my wayward ways. As a teenager or late teenager, I got really stupid in life. And anyways, regardless, God had to humble me to the point of where He had me caged in a certain area, and I was looking at some serious consequences for things I'd done. And Mom and Dad had already told me they're not going to bail me out of getting me out of the trouble I'd gotten into. But Mom brought me some books to read, and one of them was Cleve McClary, and it was Living Proof, and it was a testimony basically of this guy that was in the war and had lost pretty much everything, limbs and everything, and how he came to know Jesus. And at that moment right then is where I got saved, and can point back to that particular time in my life. And it was a drastic 180-degree turn that you could look at what I was into and what I was doing prior to that, and to what I turned toward, which is God and Jesus. That it's a miracle. It really is. It's nothing short of God taking care of me and protecting me, because I think I would not be here at this point if it hadn't been for that.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And so, kind of along those lines, what's God teaching you now, Rodney? What's something that you've been just kind of learning? And it doesn't have to be related to, like, the coronavirus or anything like that, but just maybe recently, what's been that thing that you've been learning from the Lord?
So over the last year, I would say how important prayer is. I've always prayed, but true sacrificial getting down on my knees before God praying. I use opportunities when I'm driving or when I'm flying or traveling or whatever. I spend time in prayer, but just heartfelt, just bowing down before God for the last year. Um, Never really reached out to other people to see how I can pray for them. When I hear prayer requests from people, I would I would make note of that, but actually asking people how I can pray for them. So I have a few people in my life that I'll send out. I try to send weekly. I'm not always on top of that I would send stuff out to about how I can pray for them. But honestly, since COVID-19 or Corona, whatever side of the fence you are on what it's called, it has hit. God's placed on my heart about pouring back into the boys, because once they go to college and they kind of get to the age they are, they're out on their own, they're out doing their thing. You don't see them as much, but I guess more of, don't stop pouring into your kids. And I can see with Caleb going to college, and Tanner's gone a lot with friends and stuff, that we had kind of slacked off on doing stuff like that, but pouring back into the boys. So, I've just tried to be intentional about praying with them or praying for them, and just, reading scripture and things like that. This week has been important because, this is obviously the greatest week in the life of a Christian because of the sacrifice
Right.
Jesus made for us. Today being Good Friday. Scott Hanberry mentioned or put something out there about this app called Easter Now. And I've been terrible in the past about this whole week kind of following what Jesus did. Well, this was a great app to do that. So I've been making a point, not when the reminders come up, but at the end of the day or whenever we find time together as a family, I'll make them come down, and make them being the key word. Sometimes they're tied up doing things, but we'll sit down and I'll kind of go through that timeline. So I guess the big thing though is just being intentional with family. It's so easy to forget about family and remember praying for all those other people you're asking, prayer requests, but actually family itself. So,
Yeah,
and
that's good.
I've enjoyed this time of slowing down. I'm a homebody anyways when I'm around, but man, not running out to grab something to eat, going to the store if you forgot something, need this fishing lure, heading to the academy to get it, whatever. I've actually enjoyed the time just being here with the family. So
Yeah, and that's awesome. And as a person that you reach out to weekly and ask how you can pray for me, that means a lot, and I really appreciate it, especially when I was, new here to DeSoto County, didn't really know a lot of people. It meant a lot that I at least had one person who was going to consistently ask me how they could pray for me that week. And so thank you for encouraging me in that way. And thanks for sharing that app on Facebook, because I downloaded as well. And it's been really cool to kind of
It
get the
is.
notifications and go through the final Holy Week. And like you said, I kind of know all these events and kind of know when they happen, but it's cool having a timeline of like how it all kind of took place. And so that's been really cool to see. So I was glad you shared that, and I saw that on Facebook, whatever day that was, and was able to download it and kind of keep up with it. So kind of going forward here, Rodney, you've been at Longview for a little while after you came back from God's country, as you say. I'd have to differ and say Starkville might be a little bit more of God's country, but I was able to go to Knoxville, and it was a really cool place. I'm not going to, drag it through the mud, but so in all the times you've been at Longview, I know you've been a part of a lot of different stuff. You helped out in the kitchen for a while, done some pranks in there, and just different things all over the place. What would be one of your most favorite memories from Longview?
See, I'm not a memory kind of person. I'm glad you gave me a heads up on that question. I really don't have, I don't know, I'm terrible at memory stuff. So I'd say a couple though, and this one of them just came to me, and I'd not thought about this yet. But what I put down was Wednesday nights. Man, I enjoy getting in the kitchen with those people, the people that work in the kitchen and working on Wednesday nights. They have so much fun, and it's fun because you get to see so many people come through. Whereas if you just come in and eat, you may sit at your table and just see the people around you, but as you're working in the kitchen and going in and out, you get to see all the people shuffling through. So Wednesday nights is probably one for me. But the one that just hit me, we had a surprise party for Kelly's birthday up there, and we actually got to where her mom and aunt came in for this party from God's country, and we were able to surprise her with that. So that's probably one of my favorite memories. Just looking back and all the various things. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And your kitchen antics have gotten me a couple of times.
well,
And
the
for,
one we didn't get you with was the green food dye at
that's
discipleship.
true. Uh,
And we
You you
actually had another one geared up for you that didn't work out. So you got off easy this year. This year.
well,
This
I just want
year.
I bit into it and saw green, and I freaked out, and I turned around and Claudia was like laughing. So I knew something had been done, because Claudia was like watching me the whole time and asking me like, had I got my hamburgers yet? The right
You
hamburgers. And I was like,
hey,
what?
half of the room was watching you. That's what's funny.
I know. After like I bit into it and like spit it out, they were like, everybody's laughing. So I figured something had happened that I missed.
And Jill threw me under the bus. That was actually, she spent more time on that than me, if I might say, at least as much time as me.
Oh, I knew it was a team effort. I didn't know who. I knew a couple of people who had to be involved. I don't know the extent. The whole D now could have been involved, and I wouldn't know. But I know you and Jill probably had something to do with it. But
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
but that was awesome. Well, Rodney, let's see. You are a big traveler. I know there's a question on here about traveling, and if you could just load up on plane and go anywhere. But I'm going to hit you with something different. I'm going to say, if you, and I don't even know if this was in the list I sent you, so if you need some time to ponder, I'll give it to you. But if you could only eat at one restaurant for a month, so you could only go to that place, and it was for all three meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you, other than cooking at home, but if you had to go out and eat and go get something, is there a restaurant that you would say, yeah, this was the one that I could go to for a month straight and not go anywhere else?
Mama's Kitchen.
There you go.
No, I would say I had to eat at. Man, I would probably say Chatterbox, but they don't do breakfast, so I'd be in trouble there. Man, that's a tough one, Ryan.
I
I'm
know.
gonna go with. I'm gonna defy your rules. I'm going with two. So
Okay.
Chatterbox for dinner, and then probably Cracker Barrel for lunch and breakfast.
There you go. I could go to Cracker Barrel every day. They got so much that you could just rotate through, man.
You're right.
So those are two quality choices.
So we've been having the debate on when this is over, what restaurants would we hit, and we've got a top three. Chatterbox is number one for me. I love Windy City Grill. Probably that would be in there. And then more than likely an Osaka or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Hibachi.
absolutely. I've been missing some of that stuff.
Yep.
But some of them do takeout, so I'm trying to wait and see if I'm gonna break down and do a curbside delivery from somewhere like that.
They don't do, we live so far out that there's nobody that delivers takeout out here. And by the time we go get it and bring it home, it's cold. It's like next day's breakfast or lunch or whatever we
Oh
get.
man.
So we've been cooking a whole lot.
There you go. Well, the question is, do you have Tanner and Caleb figuring out how to cook yet?
No, we've actually been really bad about that. Caleb tends to say he's on doing something for school, so we let him off on the hook, and then Tanner's still out there working. He's not working at home, so he's working. So no, we're bad. We do the cooking.
Hey, I'm sure they enjoy just coming in and eating now.
They do. We don't have a lot of leftovers. A little bit, but not much.
There you go. Well, Rodney, I appreciate you giving up some time this morning just to kind of talk and share your heart. And just thank you for serving and being a part of the Longview family. Really getting to enjoy knowing you and your family and just spending time with y'all. And it's been a joy this first year or so that I've been at Longview, just having y'all as a part of the student ministry and not leaving when Caleb left. I'm glad y'all stuck around to help out with Sunday school and Kelly going on trips. And it's all been awesome. So I love the Powells. Thank you for what y'all do. Y'all are great and amazing people.
Well, thank you for letting us serve. And Ryan, we love you. Samantha, and we love all the staff. And man, y'all are doing a fantastic job with the circumstances you're in right now. Couldn't think of a better place to be and a better family to be a part of. But thank you for all y'all do and all you've invested in us. It's not us investing in others. Y'all have invested in us. And we appreciate it and just the opportunity to serve.